a couple of individuals, individual performances are going to be so important coming forward. A couple of things I wanted to ask you about is Danny Rowe highlighted the influence of Nico Raskin this week. I've been a big critic of Nico Raskin this season. I think he's played within himself at times, but you're starting to see why he gets a game for a team like Belgium. Yusuf Chermiti was another one who I think on Saturday kind of embodied the Rangers' performance. I mean, that moment in the first half when we had a break, he had Gassama to his right, he had Moore to his left, and he passed the ball straight to the Falkirk player. And I'm sitting there thinking, how can a guy on a 5-figure sum a week not make a simple pass? Then he comes up with the 2 big goals. These guys are going to be really, really important players for us going forward. But I'm wondering, is there anyone you think might make a name for themselves who maybe hasn't so far this season? Someone might, come at the pack, an Asgard, a Miofsky, someone like that, who might surprise a few in these last few weeks and make themselves a kind of Rangers legend.
I don't know about make a name for themselves, but I just think everyone's going to need to contribute. Douglas, if they're going to win this league, I think Danny Rowe said it at the weekend. It's not just about it's not going to just be about the first 11. You think of a guy like Oliver Antman, for instance, who comes off the bench at the weekend and gets an assist for the last goal. No, it's not been a great season for him. He's been he got a bad injury despite starting, looking really good. The poor runner for him. I think his worst performance was the night Danny Rowe's first game in charge in Bergen, where he cost a goal and then got hooked, and all kind of went downhill for then. But he's came back. It looks like Danny Rowe's kind of filled him with a wee bit of confidence again. And even if it is just off the bench, if he can contribute or give Rangers something different, late in games, that could be vital in terms of winning the league. He's clearly a good player. He's a Finnish international. I think he was the top assist maker in Holland last season. So he's got something that hasn't quite worked out for him so far this season, but he could still be vital. So somebody like that, who you'd least expect, might just be really crucial to Rangers. Majovski's another one we've touched on. If he can just keep scoring every time he gets on the pitch, it could be vital. That could give Rangers the edge over Hearts and Celtic in the run-in. So I agree with you. I think you're right. Your Raskins, your Shamiti's, that they're going to grab probably most of the headlines. But the guys just in the periphery, if they can contribute in these last 5 games, it could be absolutely crucial in terms of Rangers trying to win it.
You took the words right out of my mouth when you said Antman, because I think the one thing Antman does bring to the team, and you saw it with that assist, is that Rangers will be looking to maybe play a lot of counter-attacking football, particularly with fixtures away from home, and he's got blistering pace. So I just wonder if fixtures like Tynecastle and Celtic Park, when Rangers will have to absorb a bit of pressure, I just wonder if he'll prove to be a really good outball, knock it into space behind a fullback and just let him unleash. I think he's less likely to make an impact at home when teams are more likely to sit in. So yeah, he'll probably make an impact there from off the bench. But I just wonder if Danny Rowe will be thinking about the role that Antman can play, particularly in the fixtures away from home. I think he might just prove to be a really dangerous weapon there with his pace on the counter-attack and his ability to get in behind a defence, particularly one that sits up high and leaves space at the back for him to exploit.
Even somebody like Connor Barron, Douglas, he'll be used in a different way, I would imagine. He might start a couple of the games, but obviously it looks like kind of Raskin, Chukwueze, the way they're playing the news, the kind of first picks in there. But in games where Rangers maybe need to tighten up, or whether they need to get a bit more solid in midfield or whatever, Barron could be crucial. We've said on here before, he gives Rangers midfield just something a bit different, a kind of tenacity that maybe the others don't have. So even a guy like that in the running, it might only be 20 minutes here or 50 minutes there towards the end of games just to see games out. Even guys like that could be crucial. I think so many of them are going to have a part to play if they're going to go over the line.
I think someone like Asgard, it looks like he's going to play a bit. With Nadiri out, Asgard seems to be the guy that's kind of come in to replace him. And even though he kind of flips in and out of games, he does seem to be a difference maker at times. When he is involved, it tends to be something really good. Or really bad, and you spend maybe 85 minutes, you wonder where he is, and then all of a sudden, like we've seen against Dundee United, the game had passed him by, then he beats the guy, pulls out a good shot, and the Deary obviously scores a rebound. He goes on to get his goal. It was his shot against the post that kind of led to the goal that gets back in the game on Sunday, and I'm hoping maybe we might see a bit more from him in these last few weeks, because it looks like we're going to need to rely on him. It looks like he's a guy that's going to play. I don't know what you guys think of that.
I think you've summed it up perfectly. I mean, I think ultimately he's got to do more. Douglas, when you look at his kind of whole campaign, I don't think he's done enough given the kind of reputation that he came in with. I know he only came for Luton, with all due respect, but he was an international player, decent size fee. I think there was big expectations on him. I don't think he's really kind of fulfilled that. But I agree with you. He does play in moments, and he does give you something. For an attacker, he's got good physicality, which is a bit different. But you're right, he does come up with moments. I mean, again, we were saying before half time at the weekend, he's probably going to come off. Me and Andy were saying that's probably the first sub will be Majowski for Asgard, but he comes up with that shot, as you say, that hits the post, which just triggers something, gets the goal before half time. That goal before half time was crucial, and Rangers getting back into it. So I still think he does have to take his game up a level. He's got to be involved more in games, especially if he's going to start. But like I've said about a few others there, I think he will play a part, and he's the type of guy, he could just come up with a big moment against the Hearts or a Celtic or whatever that gets you the 3 points, which could obviously be vital in the circumstances.
A flash of genius from Asgard can make all the difference, but I still wonder if the manager can trust him in these big games, the bigger games. I mean, because he does have a tendency to pick up a card, yellow or red, as we've seen against Celtic, and early yellow cards in some of the bigger games, which I think is a vulnerability, and it's a vulnerability that Rangers can do without. Because the one thing that not just Rangers, but all the top 3 teams fighting it out just now will have to be very mindful of is on-field discipline in the next few weeks. But let's keep it to Rangers. Their disciplinary record this year has actually been pretty good, but they cannot run the risk of early yellow cards, and certainly not red cards, to make a challenging period all the more challenging. So that's my fear about Asgard. Can the manager trust them in these bigger games when not the red mist, but he can certainly allow the occasion to get a wee bit the better of him? Or has he learned from previous experiences? Only the manager can tell us that. But I think it'll be interesting, particularly at Tynecastle and Celtic Park, if he starts the game, and if he doesn't, I think it's probably more down to his temperament, and the manager's just not quite been ready yet to trust him in these big occasions.